I've got the great pleasure once again to sit down with Doug and Raul, see him. Unfortunately, I only get to see him once a year, and it's always at this conference. Great seeing you guys again. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
Powerful presentation as always. I have a chill still in my spine. You know, I remember the first year you guys presented, and I don't know that there was a dry eye in the entire room. So tough situation.
Yes, sir.
But something powerful came from that, right, Raul?
Yes,
I mean, survive first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And dealing with mental health and our brothers and sisters in law enforcement and dealing with, everything, big and small, right?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, Pulse Knife Club, you both were involved, and how powerful that was and how that moved you to start talking about mental health in law enforcement, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Orlando Police for a bunch of years, and I come to talk about the Pulse nightclub incident. It gives me a platform to talk about mental health and how this affected us and how it affected us then, how, what we did, how we coped with it, and how we're, what we're doing now. All right. So, and just coincidentally, I met Doug here some years back at this very conference when we happened to be speaking at the same, at the conference. And luckily he sat in, listened to me speak, and quickly struck up a conversation and took me under his wing, and I'm thankful for Doug for that, because now we're great friends, and we get to go out and try to increase awareness about mental health, and trying to be mentally healthy, So all because of what Clear does and putting us together. I mean, we're thankful for you guys, doing what you do. Because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have met, and we wouldn't be doing the work that we're doing now. Yeah. So absolutely, thank you. Thanks for having us.
I've been interviewing people for the last 2 days, and this is like a family reunion,
right?
Yeah, we're all like, holy crap! I was wondering what happened to you.
Right.
So
most of them are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and you talk about mental health, especially in law enforcement. We were all in law enforcement, and we, tough guys, right? Tough guys, and nobody ever challenged that, spoke up to that until sometimes it was too late, unfortunately. And Doug, what a great, outstanding organization. Survive First, has blossomed and grown into so much.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal than what I expected it to be, and what the original plan was. We're national now, and it's amazing. We've got a great team. We couldn't do it without the team of people we have and the people who support us. But we're able to help first responders and their families all over the nation, and I'm proud to be part of it. That's for sure. Yeah.
Talk about some of the things that you all are doing around the country as far as helping support better mental health for our law enforcement.
Yeah, so, the biggest thing for us is awareness. A lot of, as a lot of first responders, they want buy-in. And they want to, like cops, we want facts, we want to see it. And so with our resumes, Raul's and mine, we come from that same lineage. We have two other guys, Chris Fields, who's an Oklahoma firefighter from the Oklahoma bombing, as you know, and then Chris Scallon, who is a September 11th guy, Virginia Beach. He's got the whole gamut of horrible things. And what we do is, traveling around the nation, we're able to talk to young police officers to prepare them in the future.
Right.
And we talk to older guys like us, or I should say like me. I'm much older now.
Did he just make us old?
It just felt better.
He just make us old?
He threw us all in it.
It made me feel better to include somebody else in the old arena. But we're able to, share that conversation with them, have those conversations. We call it a tough conversation, and let them know from different angles of mental health, what it can do to you, what it could do to your family, as it happened to me and Raul and the rest of the guys. So sharing that message is important to us, and saying, hey, get help, take better care of yourself. You'll be a better operator, better cop, better firefighter, most importantly, a better family member, better dad, things like that. And so that's our message.
Yeah, and I think it's, it's all well and good, all the numbers, the stats, what's the real picture here. I think it means so much more coming out of the mouths of guys that, were frontliners, right, that operated, that have done so much throughout your career, I think that brings a whole new meaning to the message, right?
Absolutely.
Especially with the younger caps, because we all remember it, right?
Yeah.
When you're first pinning on that badge, you think you're invincible, and I'll deal with it, and you just kind of put it in the back of your brain, and you try to push it down, but you know what? It impacts you, and you're right. I mean, it does impact family.
Yeah, it does.
So. First responders across the board, right? Because it doesn't matter if you wear a badge as law enforcement, badge as firefighter, EMS. Doesn't matter. You're still experiencing all those things.
Absolutely. I just wanted to real quick piggyback on, we include dispatchers, crime scene techs, because they all kind of see that stuff, right? So in their own way, and the dispatchers, God bless them, they don't usually get a whole lot of closure.
Yeah.
It's just kind of lingering out there, so they go through a lot, and that was an eye-opening experience for me in the last few years being with Doug and kind of doing the things that we do. A lot more people than what I thought are affected by what goes on, especially over a course of, 20, 25, 30 years. So, so it is a whole lot of people that are affected by, law enforcement, first responder world.
Yeah.
That is a whole lot of people affected.
Yeah, and, date myself here, as a desk sergeant, you're running the radios, you're doing all that kind of stuff, and you're right. I mean, you don't get that closure. And, as a law enforcement officer sitting behind the desk, running the comms and everything, what's your first instinct? I'm not getting closure to this. I want to go out and I got to go help, and it is tough. That is tough. And, the dispatchers today don't get that. I have a really good friend that ran comms for a fire department, and he had a tough time. And, luckily, he knew me and he knew to talk to me because of my involvement with the VA and American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And he calls me 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm there.
Right.
You need me, I'm there.
Right.
And I think that's really the thing about us as a brotherhood, a sisterhood. We're there. We know. I mean, I'm getting welled up just thinking about it, right? We know, and same with our military brothers and sisters, right? You're in the military, you know what they went through, you know how they deal with it. And civilians, sometimes they don't get it. They don't understand it. They see the badge, they see the uniform, right? They see the gun, and they think you're a tough guy. And people need to understand, hey, we have to go through this stuff, and not just once. And a lot of the biggest problem with it is, for me is that kind of, it's not so much the closure piece, it's I wish I could have done something about it. Why couldn't I have gotten this sooner, and protected that person, or whatever the case may be. So, help.
I mean, to be a first responder, there has to be, now granted, there might be people who are doing it just for a paycheck. But I would say 99%, there's something in you that brings you to that table, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a dispatcher, you want to help somebody. And when you can't, it's hard to swallow. It really is. And you get used to, I talk about this, you get used to helping people all the time. You're used to leaving the scene with closure. Like you guys were just talking about with dispatchers, they don't get the closure. And then the one thing you didn't mention about that I learned about dispatchers is, in a smaller agency, maybe even bigger ones, those dispatchers grow up with you for years. Like I did. My agency, I had the same dispatchers for several years, and we became connected. So when you're out there on the radio engaged in something as horrific as polls or anything of that magnitude, they're thinking about you as they're talking and dealing with this. They're like, hey, that's my friend out there, and they can't see it and they can't participate. It's pretty traumatic for them as well.
Absolutely. And they go through a lot, and it's tough. That's a tough job too. And I don't want anybody to ever think that's you're just sitting behind the desk answering the radio. That's a tough job. It's a tough job getting that phone call for help, and you want to help them. And you're trying to get to somebody to them as soon as possible. So mental health from that aspect, huge, obviously. Guys, thanks once again for coming out to Clear. Thanks for the presentation. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I can't say enough.
Hopefully it planted a seed with a lot of folks that if they need help, if they need someone to talk to, there's services there. There are people there that can help them. So
absolutely.
Doug, Raul, great seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for spending time. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, sir. Anytime you guys call, we'll be there.
Oh, thanks,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right.
This is JC with Survive First, Doug and Raul. Thanks once again for joining us for another live stream here at the 2022 Clear Conference in Orlando, Florida. We'll be bringing you a lot more interviews, content, sharing the day's activities. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you soon. Thanks.